Hello all, welcome to our channel The Spice Route. Today we are going to make Mysore rasam. This has been an ask from one of our subscribers and we're going to try and make the Mysore rasam from scratch. To start with, I am going to give you all the ingredients and we're going to try and make it really quick. So we have to first grind and make a powder for the Mysore rasam with this following spices right here. And I'll start with chana dal, which is 1 teaspoon of chana dal, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of jeera, about 4 or 5 curry leaves, about 2.5-3 red chilies, dried red chilies, depending on the amount of heat that you want in the rasam, and about 1.5 teaspoons of coriander seeds. This is going to be made into a spice powder after dry roasting, along with what you see here, which is about 2 spoons of coconut. This is about 2.5 teaspoons of fresh coconut that will also be dry roasted. We also have here the tur dal. We have actually saying we need some tur dal which has been cooked. This is about half a cup of tur dal cooked, which makes up about 2 cups. We're going to only use about half of this. So 1 cup of cooked tur dal. We have ghee for tadka, we're going to use it at the end for tempering, right? We have some tamarind concentrate. We typically use this as against the fresh tamarind. We're going to use about 2 teaspoons of the tamarind concentrate eventually. We have some diced tomatoes. We have some rasam powder here. This is about 1.5 teaspoons of rasam powder. We have some turmeric and we have some salt and asafoetida. What we're going to do first is I'll show you that we have our water. We have some boiling water out here. It has just started to boil. And I am going to add the cut Roma tomatoes. This is about 3 small Roma tomatoes that have been cut, diced. And I'm going to add that into the water and let that cook along with a few of the spices that I have. I'm going to add the rasam powder to it. I am also going to add approximately, this is half a teaspoon, by the way, just so everyone is aware. This is half a teaspoon. I'm going to add a total of 3 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 a total. I am also going to add approximately half a teaspoon of turmeric, and I am also going to tear about 4 or 5 curry leaves into this. I'm also adding approximately 1.5 teaspoons. This is, I'm eyeballing it. It's about 1.5 teaspoons of tamarind paste into the mix. And I am also going to throw in some hing. Think of it as about 1/4 teaspoon. Now we are going to let this boil for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we are going to fry and dry fry our spices and make the powder for the Mysore rasam powder. We are now going to dry roast our spices. We start with the chana dal. And then we add our peppers, the curry leaves, the red chilies, and the jeera and the dhaniyas, or the coriander seeds. This needs to be dry roasted until the aroma comes out. The curry leaves have to start wilting, and at that point we will add some fresh coconut we use the frozen fresh coconut, and we will dry roast it a little bit more, and then we will grind it into a powder which we'll use for the Mysore rasam. So you would see that a lot of our the chana dal and our curry leaves have started wilting, have become dry, and at this point we add about 2.5 teaspoons of fresh frozen coconut to it. And what we do is let that also dry roast, not too much, maybe just for about 30-40 seconds, really not too much. You just have to remove the moisture out of the dry coconut, out of the fresh coconut, I'm sorry. And once we remove the moisture, we're going to grind this into a powder, not adding any water to it. This gives a very good flavor to our Mysore rasam, and this will help enhance the taste of the Mysore rasam as well. Alright folks, so we have the ground spices that I dry roasted, and now we're going to add this to the rasam that has been boiling here, and add the entire thing to the rasam. You're going to see that the rasam is going to start frothing a little bit, which is expected of the rasam, and we're just going to add all of the wonderful spices to the rasam mix, and we're going to mix it up a little bit. And also right now we are going to add the entire mixture of the dal. I had removed about 1 cup of the dal, and I'm going to add the rest of it into the mixture. I am also going to add approximately 1 more cup of water to this. Alright, so I'm adding about 1 cup of water, and we need to let this boil for another 10 minutes or so. Another secret ingredient that typically gets added to Mysore rasam is gur or bellam or jaggery. We in our house, we add brown sugar instead, which also is a very good alternative for jaggery. I am adding about 1 teaspoon of jaggery, which is in this small spoon is about 3 of those, and we're going to mix this up fairly well. Allow this to boil up for another 10 minutes or so. I leave this to boil for 10 minutes, and then finally all we have to do is the tadka. And once the tadka is ready, then all the rasam is pretty much ready as long as it comes to a boil. That's about it. So we are now going to do the tadka. I forgot to show you the mustard seeds, but we are adding about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. The oil is, it's actually ghee that is already added there, about a tablespoon of ghee. We are adding about half a teaspoon of jeera to it. And we are going to sprinkle some hing to this as well, because hing adds the flavor to the rasam. And finally, a secret that I want to let you know. Most people just add the coriander as it is, or the cilantro as is. What I end up doing for Mysore rasam is putting this in the tadka. It enhances the flavor. You would notice that it is spluttering quite a bit, and now we are actually going to take it as is at this point, and we are going to put it in our rasam right here.
It's ready.
That is perfect, and the rasam is now absolutely ready for consumption. This is perfect with hot steaming rice and ghee. Enjoy making Mysore rasam in your house.